Have you or someone you know recently gotten engaged and are now looking for a celebrant for your big day? Well, look no further, because I am a registered marriage celebrant servicing the southeast Queensland and northeast New South Wales areas. Not only do I take care of all the paperwork, but I focus on creating a personalised ceremony that reflects you as a couple. So whether you want a ceremony that's fun and exciting, if you want a bit of a tearjerker, or maybe a bit of both, get in touch by heading to therollingcelebrant.com or look me up on Facebook or Instagram at the_rolling_celebrant, and let's discuss how to make your wedding day one that you've always dreamt of, as long as no stairs are involved. Okay, you ready? Let's do it. You're listening to Chats from a Chair, with me, Nick Dempsey, coming to you from my wheelchair. I speak with people who have a great story to tell, portraying the human potential, often in the face of adversity. Check out the Instagram page at chatsfromachair_podcast and let me know who you think I should have on and have a chat with. Also, don't forget to hit follow on whatever platform you're listening to this. But for now, sit back and enjoy this episode. Coming up in this episode, I speak with Brooke Colless and her son Kai, who is a wheelchair user. He didn't have the typical sort of spinal cord injury in a traumatic way, but instead had a bit of a build up to a day that he went to get up to go to the bathroom and just couldn't. So we explore the way that it got to that stage and the impact it's had on the family and the nomadic lifestyle they were living up to that point. And this episode was actually recorded 12 months ago, so stay tuned at the end for an update for everything Kai's achieved in the last 12 months. But for now, sit back and enjoy the episode. G'day and welcome to another episode of Chats from a Chair. Today I have with me Brooke and Kai. Guys, thanks for coming on and having a chat.
That's
Pleasure.
okay.
How you guys feeling? Ready to go?
Ready to go?
Yeah.
Get into it. Awesome. Well, I mean, we have a fair bit we want to get into about you, Kai, and I guess we'll get into it later, but not as much of an injury as others. It's a different one. But first off, Brooke, tell us about the family. How many kids and, where they're all growing up?
Sure. So Kai's the eldest of 5. Cruz is 14, Bo's 12, Lola's just turned 10, and Cove's 3, and Kai's just turned 17. So 5 of them. We grew up. They're growing up in Palm Beach on the Gold Coast near the beach, doing all things ocean.
Busy lifestyle.
Very busy.
And are you always from here as well? Like,
I was born at Southport, lived on the Gold Coast my whole life.
Gold Coast locals, yeah.
Yes.
Right. I said to someone before, you don't meet, I don't meet a lot of them.
No,
so many people.
Very, very rare to be someone who was born here and lived here their whole life.
And you chose to, I've got to get this right, did you pull the kids out of school and chose to live this like sort of nomadic lifestyle, or how exactly did it work?
Clinton and I have always loved travel. I think when Kai was about 6, we took a trip to WA and hired a motorhome and went down towards Margaret River and stuff and just really loved it and thought we need one of these for ourselves. So we got one of those. Lola was only 4 months old then, and obviously Cove wasn't born. So we had the motorhome for the last 10 or 11 years, and just every holidays we jump in that, take it on an adventure. Just a really good way to cement the family together when things get crazy and life's busy, obviously, in a big family, lots of sport and that kind of thing. We just loved being together in there, taking big trips down the coast, surfing our way around everywhere.
Yep.
And then, our dream has always been to do that for a year and go around Australia, but financially and, work-wise and stuff, it just never happened. And then last year, 2022, we realised that Kai was going into grade 11 this year, and our opportunity to pull the kids out of school and do something, an extended travel adventure, was coming to an end because we couldn't sort of pull him out in grade 11.
Yeah, getting harder.
Yeah, so we just I think it was April. We just made a crazy decision. If we're going to do it, we need to do it now. And we booked a date in July to leave, and we booked 3.5 months around the world.
Oh, really?
So
Wow.
we rented our house out. We sold all the things. We pulled the kids out of school, and embarked on a trip around the world. And then that's when everything went to shit, really.
Yeah. So, Kai, when you get told, right, I'm going to get pulled out of school and travel, you would have been devastated, were you?
Yeah, I was so unhappy with that. It was so good.
Would've
Got
been
very
awesome.
excited, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't get too annoying with all your siblings all close together like that?
No, it's all right. We're kind of used to it with all the travel that we've done
Yeah, true.
before.
I reckon me and my brothers would kill each other if we tried to stay together for that long.
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome. Like you said, a chance to have some time just together as a family without all those distractions would have
Yeah, that's right.
been awesome, those holiday parts. But then to take it that next step, yeah, well, as you said, that's when it sort of all eventually went to shit.
Yeah.
What happened? Because I know a lot of people I speak to, myself, obviously, there's this big event that you're doing something and bang, you have an accident or an injury or a car crash, whatever it might be, and your whole world's flipped upside down and it's panic. But I know for you guys it was a little bit different than that. How did it play out?
Kai's legs started to atrophy, and he was having a lot of tightness and stuff from April last year. And we had him to all the, sports remedial therapists and that kind of thing. He needs to stretch. His bones have grown faster than his muscles have grown, because he grew about a head height in 12 months type of thing. So we were doing all of that. Then he'd broken his femur when he was 2. So I had x-rays, something going on with a leg length discrepancy, and they found a 1.5 centimetre leg length discrepancy. So they kind of put it down to maybe that was throwing his hips out and that kind of thing. Looking back now, we probably should have. Well, in my gut, I knew something was wrong then, and I should have pushed for an MRI. But we had this holiday, and the ball was rolling, and we kind of we were leaving, and so as we got to the Mentawais, which was only 2nd or 3rd week into the trip, Clinton and I began to get really worried. He was getting really weak with his walking, and just legs were atrophying even more, and lots of tightness, and he was really tired. He was never hungry. I had to get protein powder shipped, 3.5 hours boat trip from the mainland over to us to try and get some extra food into him and stuff. We were phoning back to our friend who's a physiotherapist, sort of saying, what do you think about this? Do you think we should try and get an MRI? But obviously we're in a third world country. Where do you go to get an MRI in Padang, So we pushed on, but by the time we got to France, we were super worried about him, and a girlfriend who we visited over there just said, look, before you get to Spain, and the healthcare system's nowhere near what it is here in France, just go in and get some tests done. And so that's what we did. We got down to Biarritz and went into the Bayonne hospital there and had an MRI. And between, very limited English the doctors could speak, they said we found something really rare. And they transferred all the files back to Paris Children's Hospital, which I think is the biggest hospital in Europe. And they didn't want to let us leave.
Yeah, right.
Unfortunately, the same day that he entered, he tested positive for COVID. So
good timing.
we couldn't leave the room. We couldn't go and get food. We couldn't speak French. It was a bit of a debacle, to be honest. So then we were trying to contact doctors back here and see what could happen. Anyway, they ended up letting us leave as long as we were going straight to a hospital back here. Yep. We had to drive 8 hours. So we'd hired a motorhome, drive that all the way back, super worried about him, just laying flat, in the motorhome, back to Paris for a couple of nights before we could get a flight home. And then transferred back here to Brisbane, Queensland Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
And when we got back here, they did a angiography, I think it's called, angiogram.
Yeah.
Where they go in through the groin and up through all of, checking all your arteries up your spine. And that's where they found something going on up here at his C6, C7 vertebrae. And essentially the arteries, they thought there was one artery up there sending high-speed, non-oxygenated blood into the low-speed veins in his spinal cord, chogging up his lumbar spine and swelling the spinal cord in that area and sending no oxygenated blood to the lower half of his body.
Yep. Yeah, okay.
So then the head of neurosurgery at Queensland Children's Hospital searched the world for somebody who'd seen something as rare as that and who thought they could do something about it. He was coming up with crazy operations like
Chop your neck off.
like we're going to go in through the front, we're going to do this, we're going to but he won't be able to move, he won't be able to do this and that, and it's super risky, could bleed out on the table,
Jeez.
all this kind of thing. And, Clint and I are just at our wits' end, like what options have we got here, praying for a miracle, really. And then he had a operation where the interventional radiologist went in through that groin artery and up, and they put a coil into one of the arteries, but when they got in there, they found that there was a second artery doing the same thing, and it had an S-bend in it, and they couldn't put a coil in that one. So essentially his spine was still filling up with fluid or whatever,
yep.
So we sat in Queensland Children's Hospital for 3 weeks while they we don't know what they were doing, to be honest, trying to find someone. They put it out to Boston because they sort of specialise in AVMs over there, arteriovenous malformations, which is what it was.
Yep.
To London and back again to Paris and stuff. And then incredibly, the interventional radiologists put it out to all of their people as well. And a guy in Sydney thought that Dr. Nazi Assad, neurosurgeon at Royal North Shore, might be interested in having a look at it, put it onto him. He thought he had seen something similar to this before, reached out to neurosurgery at Queensland Children's and said he'd be willing to operate.
Yeah, right.
And we were on a jet plane the next day.
So, it all happened pretty quick.
We were only home a week because he was walking when we got home.
Oh, right. So
then he lost his bowel and bladder and his legs a week after we got home.
Typical sort of spinal cord injury signs, I guess. But Kai, what did that feel like for you? Did you feel your legs just every day would get weaker, or how did that feel?
Well, it was very slow, so I can't really remember what it was like walking, because it was just really slow. And then after I had the first coil put in, that was when everything left.
Yeah, he got up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He got up and went to the toilet, walked back to his bed. 9 o'clock that night, tried to get up and walk to the toilet. Couldn't walk.
Yeah.
Couldn't we?
Yeah, right. You didn't feel anything change, just went to get up and just all of a sudden couldn't?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. No pain or anything like that? No. Nothing. Do you still have feeling on your legs or at the time or now, or did that go as well at the same time?
It was starting to go at the same time.
Yeah, okay. Just getting a bit more dull.
Yeah.
It's been a bit like a tide, hasn't it? It was sort of, he had no feeling from sort of up here down.
Yeah.
At the time, and then slowly since he's been rehabbing, the feelings come back.
So then you went in, so you saw that surgeon, was it? And then did you go straight in for surgery from there?
So we were flown straight down to Sydney.
On the Friday we got
on the Thursday, then on the Friday he wanted to do a couple more tests. He wanted to do another angiography. I'm probably saying that wrong. Angiogram. I think that's in your heart. I don't know. So they did another one of them just to check all the way up his spine, just to make sure that nothing else was happening. And then the surgeon just mulled it all over the weekend, and then he went into surgery on the Monday.
Right, because I saw on Instagram as well some, I guess, pretty confronting footage of you, Kai, where you're sort of laying down and in a lot of pain and a bit like a rash on body as well. When did that come about? Was that before that surgery or?
That was because I was on steroids. So they put me on, there's steroids that obviously big gym steroids.
Yeah.
And then there's keeping your muscles small steroids.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to keep the swelling small. And because they put me on that, I got real bad acne all over my face and my chest and my back. And then,
Ate a lot of donuts.
yes, it made me really hungry. I got very fat.
Yeah, right. Did the job then, trying to get you to put.
Yeah.
Is that just because with the atrophy they were trying to
Yes.
build
No,
up
I
there?
think from the
They were
it was
just
just
trying
trying
to slow
to
it.
keep the swelling
Oh,
down.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, right. Just haven't had any more donuts since then. Yeah, okay. So then surgery went well?
So the operation was massive, and but it was the first time, the Brisbane surgeon. The night before we flew down, for instance, this is the surgeon's attitude the whole week, the whole month that we were in hospital waiting. He came into our room. It looked like he'd been operating all day, and he sat down, slumped down on a chair, and looked at Clint and I and said, "Oh, so I suppose I've heard from a Sydney surgeon." And we said, yeah, like Clint and I are just full of hope at this point. Like, finally, somebody has, put their hand up to say that they're going to be able to save him. And because if they didn't operate, essentially it would have just kept filling up his spine and taken out further.
Yeah.
And yeah, sat down and just said, suppose you've heard heard from the Sydney surgeon. Got no idea who he is. Don't know what thinks he's going to do. He's saying that he's going to go in through the back of the spine and twist the spinal cord around. I said to him, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, right.
He said, I told him that I'd like a video if he thinks that he can do that and this kind of thing. So then Clint and I just like, what the hell? Like, what is this? Who is this guy? What is he going to do? But, and so then he just stood up and he said, so, good luck.
Oh my God, they're stupid, aren't they? They have no
bedside manner. And I just took one look at him and I just said, we're going down there for a miracle and we'll see you when we get back.
Yeah, that's to get that stage with you where you'd sort of not given up hope, like you'd gone for hope. You would have been through so much ups and downs.
That's right. And we needed someone new. We needed fresh eyes. We needed somebody who specialised in this. The Brisbane radiology guy was, he specialises in brain cancer and that kind of thing. And vascular stuff was not his, niche market. Whereas so then we started researching Nazi Assad and listening to podcasts that he's been on and stuff and just were blown away by how amazing he was and that this was his niche. This is what he's good at.
So you knew you were in touch with the right
That's
people
right,
then.
yeah. And then we got to Sydney on the Thursday and the Friday morning he went in for those other couple of operations, X-ray, MRI and then this angiogram thing. And 3 separate people that morning approached me, the guy at the front desk who, had signed documents and stuff, said to me, "Oh, what are you here for?" I said, "My son's having an operation with." "Oh, who's it with?" "Nazi Assad." It's, incredible.
Right.
He's amazing. He's the best surgeon that we've got here.
Yeah.
And I thought, thank goodness.
Yeah.
And then the next person, the nurse who brought him back out from one of the things, she said, "What are you doing?" And what it told her, and she said, Nazi Assad worked on my mum. She had a brain tumour. She was incredible. So 3 people sort of encouraged us that we were in the right hands and stuff. And then when he came in to meet Kai on the Friday afternoon, he arrived at the door. He had a whole team of people behind him, poked his head in. "Hey, guys," got out his marker, drew on the board exactly what had been going on, gave us the best explanation of anybody what had been going on. And this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
See you Monday type of thing.
Seems like something so that you would expect from most doctors, and something that for what they do, it's probably only a small part of their job. But when you're dealing with people that are often at their most vulnerable and just need any sort of clear direction,
hope. We just needed hope.
They have no idea what's going on. You could explain a surgery to me and I'll have no idea what you're talking about. But it's the way you carry yourself and explain yourself to the family and just, portray that hope and portray that, you know what they're doing and you have their best interests.
Yeah, that's
makes a world of difference when people are in that sort of environment.
we were in a desperate situation.
Yeah. Well, did you and Clint sort of, obviously the whole family would have been in all sorts, not knowing what's going on. Do you guys feel like you had to put on a bit of a brave face for the other kids, or you happy to?
We were just numb, to be honest, looking back now. Clint's sister and her 4 kids moved up from Lennox and moved into our house and looked after our 4 kids there. So we had a room at Ronald McDonald House and Clint and I just didn't leave Kai that whole time. So the other kids were just, looked after by grandparents and aunties and stuff, and then brought up to the hospital every now and again. But even when that happened, Clint and I tried to take them to Ronald McDonald House, to the park and stuff, and we were just numb.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't be. Yeah, when you're dealing with that on one side, and you got to try to, keep that brave face or keep the sort of family together. I suppose that's when, like I said, being able to lean on family though and have them help out is a massive.
We
thing.
had the most incredible village of people. The whole journey, really. We had a meal train of people bringing meals to our house every night for 7 weeks, I think, until the kids got sick of spaghetti and lasagna. But yeah, the whole community, we've been a big part of soccer, surf life saving, schools, all that kind of thing. So an incredible amount of people pitched in to help out.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a common thing with these sort of situations, I think, that when people can lean on other people, or if they can help out in any way, whether it is something like making some meals or it makes a massive difference too. I know when my mum was down in Melbourne rehab with me, I think Dad blew up the microwave reheating meals that people had made for him. So little things like that. But Kai, how was it having the family sort of come visit you and have your siblings all around? Did it give you a little bit of bit of a distraction for everything going on? Was that good?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it was good seeing family all the time, and I kind of had friends up there most of the time as well. So it was
his mates really came up. There was somebody at least every weekend, wasn't there? And then they all pitched in, and Tugan Surf Club, all the team put money in, and they bought him an Xbox and a telly and
sick.
all the stuff. So all of his mates came up and delivered that, didn't they?
Didn't want to leave the hospital room to sit down.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. How were you feeling when the doctors came in talking about surgery? Were you nervous, or were you just thinking, hurry up and get this done to me? Or
Yeah, in Sydney I was more like, let's just do it already.
It was a long weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a long weekend.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth with doctors and
just stress,
sick of it,
the whole
sick of it.
weekend we were just worrying about how it was all going to go, and
And then seems like it went well, that surgery with.
So it was a long day. I think we dropped him off at 7 a.m, and then I think about 11:30 we had a call from the team saying that they'd got access to where they needed to get access to, and they'd shut down one of the arteries, but they wanted to just take him back across to do an angiograph to check that everything was okay. And Clint and I were just, we're so relieved. They got in, they did what they needed to do. And then when we hung up, we started thinking, why are they taking him back across the hall? So they took him from one room back across to the hall, turned him, stitched him back up, took him back across, turned him over, did an angiogram, found another artery still doing the same thing.
Oh, shit.
So then they rang back and said, look, we're just letting you know, I think this was now 1 o'clock. We found another artery doing the same thing. Is it okay if we take him back across the hall, open him back up and go in again? So obviously, what do you have, what can you do?
That would have been
back across.
Finally done, and then
the relief, and then we started worrying, and then so that was 1 o'clock, I think, and then we didn't hear from them again until 5:45 when they rang and just said, I'm going to get emotional. They've got to the other artery and they've shut it down.
That would have been the best news.
Yeah, just so much relief, and
after such a long journey.
Yeah. And then beforehand, because they had to twist the spinal cord in that area, they were worried about Kai's arm, that he might lose, that, some of the nerves might be affected down that right arm. So you would have probably seen in the videos of him when he came out of surgery, just trying to lift his arms, and just the first thing that he said was, I can lift my arms and I can move my fingers. And
yeah, that would have another massive relief, I imagine, for both of you.
Yeah, I still have a little bit of a bad hand, I can't open it all the way as proposed to this hand.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They said I might not be able to use my whole arm, so it was good.
Yeah, to come away with that, when you with what it could have been. Yeah, that's a thing of perspective, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah,
could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. It would have come through that, and to come out with that result must have been, like I said, a massive. I mean, obviously, still, it's not you're fixed and sort of thing, and everything's
Yeah.
good to go. Like there's obviously still a lot of work from there, and still today there still is. But to get that relief to know that at least it's been a stop to getting worse and
That's right.
degenerative, then yeah, that would have been
And they,
awesome.
you know, the Sydney surgeons were quite positive and, you know, not wanting to give you false hope, but, you know, it takes a long time for nerves to renew and we're not sure, you know, how your body's going to respond and that kind of thing. But we're hopeful that, you know, you'll get some, you know, movement and all that kind of thing back. So
Yeah.
it's just going to be a time thing.
So do you remember in that moment getting the call, you and Clint, what you said to each other? Or
Just hysterical. We
Yeah.
were both just hysterical.
yeah, it would have been
Yeah.
awesome. What about, do you remember getting that news, Kai, that when you woke up or that everything's gone well? And
Oh, I was so high off my face on painkillers. I can't really remember anything. But
I had the same. People ask me the
But,
same
yeah.
thing. I'm like, I got no idea what
Yeah.
anyone said to me.
yeah, but no, I would have been pretty happy, I think.
And when you came out and you could move that right arm,
Yeah,
that was
that was like the first thing. I was like, yes, I can move my arms.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Because you know, you've had your legs taken from you,
Yeah.
and then the thought of now having you know, an arm as well, it was a lot.
Yeah, I guess just relating to what my injury as well. I guess at the start I had like no movement at all, and then it
Yeah.
went the other way, got a little bit better, and got a bit more movement back. So I couldn't imagine it get degenerative. You start off with all of it and slowly
Yeah.
gets taken away. Obviously both are different roller coasters, but it would be a strange thing to then not have that hope of. I mean, hope's such a massive thing, isn't it? To not
That's
have that
right.
hope to work something towards if it's
Yeah.
going the other way. But and so could you move your legs or anything coming out of surgery then?
No,
No.
so like the 3 days, I could still move them a little bit, but then like the 3 days before surgery, it really started going
Right.
faster. And then after surgery, I couldn't move my legs at all or anything.
Yeah, okay. And did that slowly start to come back doing rehab, or how's
Yeah.
that going?
Well, we noticed a toe move, didn't we? While we were still in Sydney.
Yeah,
I think
well,
we're only in
it was
Sydney
more
for
like
2
my
weeks.
knees. I could start to lift my knees up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, actually, before I had a couple weeks before I started getting like spasms.
Oh, righto.
And then like 2 weeks before that they left, and then 2 weeks after surgery they started coming back, which we kind of thought is like that's a good thing.
Yeah, as soon as we saw one toe twitch, we just thought, if something's speaking all the way down to there,
Yep.
yeah,
there's hope that
If something
know,
can get through, then others
that's
can
right.
get through.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would have been awesome seeing that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was amazing.
Again, hope. Gives you that
Yes.
hope.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And then just started smashing rehab.
So
Yeah.
we're in Sydney, for
2
2 weeks,
weeks.
I think, and then we got brought back to Queensland Children's. So his operation was October the 10th. We got brought back to Queensland Children's to rehab there. Everything is very slow.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
probably
isn't it?
anybody with a spinal cord injury probably realises that it's very slow process, especially in the public hospital system. You know, you get down there and this isn't working, that's not working today, or so-and-so hasn't turned up to work today, so you've missed your physio session for
Yeah.
the whole day.
Yep.
And, you know, every 24 hours is just so long.
Yep.
So they, in the meetings, they tried to tell us that, because I kept saying, do you think we can be home by Christmas? Do you think we can be home by Christmas? So from October till, so what was that? November, December. It
months.
was probably 10 weeks, I
Yeah.
think. They just kept saying, look, spinal cord injury, the earliest anyone would be getting out would be 6 to 9 months.
Yep.
And we just were like, there's no way.
No.
Like, we've got 4 other kids at home. We've got a life to get back to. There's no way that we can be living here in the Children's Hospital for that long. Clint wasn't working, you know, he needed to get back to work. So, yeah, we just started busting everything out and we just started organising all the things. He had to, get on top of his own healthcare routine and that kind of thing, which he smashed out. And then they came to the house, checked it out, you know, said we've got a very tall house with lots of stairs. If you guys are happy to carry him up and down, we'll be happy to sign off.
Yeah, right.
And so we were out on the 9th of December, only 8 weeks after the operation. Still the earliest spinal cord injury that's ever left
That's
the
a
hospital.
quick turnaround for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
Couldn't wait to get out of there.
Yes.
Yeah.
His bedroom overlooks the ocean. I
Yeah.
think as soon as the OT and that from the hospital came down and realised And we just kept saying to them, that's where his healing is gonna be, in the water, back on the coast where, he loves, where all of his friends and all that kind of thing are. So
yeah, makes a difference. Has its pros being there and learning what you need to learn and doing, but
it's definitely got its time.
It's a stage though where you got to really advocate for yourself, don't you, in those sort of situations and really push for what you want.
And we hated the negativity.
I think it's just about timing. Like, you kind of want to be there for the perfect amount of time where they give you everything you need, but like they don't give you too much.
Yeah.
Like, I was there for a good amount of time because if I was there any longer, I had real bad tone at the start.
Oh, yeah.
So they wanted to give me
Botox
in my legs. But then as soon as I started going to physio, it went away. And if I had had Botox, I wouldn't have been able to use my legs as good or anything.
Yeah, they look for that quick fix sort of thing rather than
and medication. I kept trying to say, can I put him on cranberry tablets? Can I put him on multivitamins? Oh, the rigmarole that it would take to write all that stuff up.
Yeah, no, it's nothing's easy there. But like you said, really had a few stories and myself that you really got to push for what you want. So don't be afraid to do that. That you do know what's best for you and your family.
That's right.
Do so. Don't be afraid if you do get a bit of pushback from doctors, whatever it is.
And we just hated the negativity. He's not going to walk again. If he wants to get into he'd have to build a lot of leg strength to be able to stand transfer into the car.
Yeah.
And all this kind of thing. And we were just like, we don't want to hear any of it.
Yeah.
We're not talking any negativity.
Don't need to be surrounded by that. And
no.
Yeah. Well, good you got out of there. It's worked well for you. What is it?
Yes.
Just over 12 months post now, isn't it? Yeah. So, and you've come a long way. I mean, I've seen you a little bit, the stuff you do at Strides and online as well. And I saw you got back into adaptive surfing.
Yeah.
What was that like, getting back in the water?
Yeah, so I've been back in the water a little bit over Christmas, and then we kind of just found it. Dad found it online. There was a competition in Hawaii, and we thought that would be a good goal. So I kind of got back in the water heaps more and went surfing towards that. And it's kind of like a world tour. So there's like one in Hawaii, one in Costa Rica, one in California. And so we went to the Hawaii one, and we thought we were just going to go to one because it was a good goal. And then I won.
Yeah, right. Easy as that.
Well, obviously, in surfing in the prone position, laying down.
Yeah,
so it's just it's kind of like boogie boarding, but on a surfboard.
Right, and that's everyone sort of does the same thing. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a couple divisions. There's like prone 2, which is like people who don't have as much arm use.
Right.
Who get pushed on and people catch them. And then there's prone 1, which is what I'm in, where I can catch my own waves and do everything by myself. And then there's like amputee, like upper knee amputee, which is like in kneeling, or lower knee, which is standing.
So blind surfing.
Blind surfing.
So it's kind of like the para games where there's different classifications.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And we just thought it would be an amazing environment for him to be in, being such an athlete prior to injury, to meet other people in similar situations to him, frothing on being in the surf, just doing what they love in a way that they can. That's why we set him the goal for Hawaii.
Back to what you were in a different way as adaptive, but back to the surfing and stuff you were doing before.
Exactly.
And being competitive, he's a competitive kid. He's always been in competitive sport, and just giving you that goal and, the urge to try your hardest and, winning or losing. It's good to just be back in that environment.
How was it for you and Clint seeing him get back in the water?
It was awesome. His mates carried him in the water the first time he got back in the water over Christmas, and and they were there taking him out in the water quite often, practicing and stuff. But he's been in the water since he was 6 months old. Clint's had him on a surfboard since he was 2, and he's super comfortable in the ocean. That's his favourite place to be. So we knew that just getting him back in the water, back in nature, doing something that he loved was going to be where it was at for him.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, that's where a lot of the healing happens as well.
Yeah, that's right.
And just that mental release too, isn't it? More so than just worrying about your disability all the time, trying to rehab it. And
we had no idea that he would win Hawaii.
Yeah.
Like, it was literally just a let's go meet some people, that kind of thing. And then when he won, we were like, what?
Yeah,
what's happened here? Yeah.
So you just as well went over to California recently too? Was that a different one?
So we got back from...
So I won Hawaii and got back, and I was kind of trying to save up for a car, so I didn't know if I was going to go to Costa Rica or not. And And then Mum went to the. Oh, you should probably tell this story.
Yeah, so we did Hawaii, but, you know, it cost a fortune
Yeah.
and everything. And then I just kept home thinking, you know, how many times in your life is there an opportunity for you to be a world champion at something? Like, we've got to make this happen. How am I going to make it happen? And everyone I ran into everywhere was like, you know, do a GoFundMe. We'd really love to contribute to getting him to the next one. And we'd been very blessed that people had organised a GoFundMe for us while we were in hospital to help with expenses and stuff. So we didn't want to do that again. And then I woke up one morning and thought, right, we're going to make it happen. Maybe I can do a raffle, you know, like I'll get some prizes and that kind of thing. And I had a hair appointment at 11:30 and I rang them and said, oh, is there any chance I can come in a bit earlier? And they said, yeah, come in at 10. Went in at 10. Got sat next to this amazing gentleman who heard Kai's story, looked all over my Instagram, just was sporty and stuff himself, and left the salon, came back 40 minutes later, said to me, I want to sponsor Kai and Clint to go to Costa Rica to the next one.
Oh, that's awesome.
Get your travel agent to do the whole trip up and send me the invoice and I'll just pay it.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
just was like hysterical. Like,
Oh
what do
my
you
God.
mean? Are you like, what do you mean? You know, and then, yeah, he was just as blessed being able to do that for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they went to Costa Rica, and that was pretty incredible, pretty different, wasn't it, with crocodiles in the creek?
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was kind of like a creek went out, and then on one side there was mountains, and one side there was like a bank, and you kind of surfed the left-hander on the bank, and it was a sick left-hander. And there was all crocodiles in the creek and stuff where you paddled out. So
Apparently they don't come out to the ocean.
And you just had to trust that.
Yeah.
Trust the locals.
Yeah, but there was little local kids swimming around in the creek and stuff, so we kind of thought, oh, if they're swimming, it should be fine.
Yeah, it should be. Hopefully they take them first before you. If anything. Yeah.
So he came third
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
was
came
it-
third there.
You're the youngest ever to compete in that competition?
Yeah.
Is that right?
There's a couple young, like
yeah, there's
maybe
a couple-
2 or 3 younger
Right.
girls who do it as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the blind division.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's still come away third at that. Was that your second?
That came
Cool.
third,
Yeah, that was my second comp.
And then we got back from there as well, and the gentleman rang me and said, how did he go and everything? And I suppose you want to get to California for the third leg and finish this thing off. And I said, you know, we'd really love to.
Yeah.
And so, again, he sponsored him.
That's awesome.
Koloshi Real Estate ended up coming on board and paying the flights, and then he paid the balance of the trip to California. And so Kai and I and one of his mates ended up coming as well. Went to California to the US Open, where he surfed amazing all week and
Yeah.
ended up winning. And then with the points from the 3 comps, became world champion.
World champ.
Yeah,
Shit.
it kind of came down to the final because I won the first one, and then Casey and Ryan were the other guys.
That's right. Leading into the
Yeah.
third one,
So
there was
Casey-
3 of them on the same points.
Yeah, so I won the first in obviously Hawaii. Ryan got second and Casey got third, and then after Costa Rica, Casey won, Ryan got second, and I got third. So we're all
Oh.
on the
Same
same
points.
points
Yeah.
going into the final, and so we were all in the final together, and I won.
Again,
So it was
yeah.
good.
Jeez,
Yeah.
yeah. That would have been stressful getting into yeah, but that competitiveness again.
Yeah.
And then he was invited to be part of the Australian Irriganji's parasurfing team to
Yeah.
compete with the Australian team back in California in November
Yeah.
in the ISA Worlds competition, which was
Yeah.
amazing as well.
Yeah.
Right, awesome.
Wearing the green
Yeah.
and gold.
Jeez, that's a quick turnaround, isn't it? Just
Yes.
we'll just give
It's
this a go,
amazing.
and
I
then
know,
end up being
right?
world champ. That's what you
It's
want
been mind blowing.
to keep going.
Yeah.
Jeez, that young, you'd be a 20-time world champ for that thing. That's awesome, mate. It would have been a good feeling. Doing
Yeah,
that,
yeah, it was so good. Yeah.
especially after going through everything
Yeah.
you went through to get that afterwards. Yeah, it'd be sick.
Yeah. Yeah. And I won a bit of prize money, helped me pay off my car, so that was good as well.
Even better. I saw as well, you went back to the Brisbane Children's Hospital not long ago and walked in and out.
Yeah.
So we
That
went
was
back in April, and so he left in the wheelchair, obviously, in December, and then we started at Strides in January, and he's been smashing that out. We went back to the Children's Hospital for a follow-up in April, and he had a wheelie walker, which we gave a bit of a crack, part way around the hospital just to show them that he was up on his legs and stuff. And then his goal was to next time he got back there to be walking somehow. So yeah, we went back last Friday and left
Walked
the
around with
wheelchair in the car.
crutches.
Yeah.
It was
Slow, but
amazing.
good.
Slow, yeah, slow.
Slow, but everyone was blown away. Like,
Uh,
well, we weren't expecting to see you back in here walking on crutches, Kai, and stuff.
you love to show them that, don't you? The
Yeah.
ones
Love
that were
it.
saying that, oh,
Though,
yeah.
nothing better than showing those that didn't think that you would be able
Oh.
to, that you did.
Good feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I think, I shouldn't be that petty, but I'm like, nah. Yeah. It's good. It's good to get them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And so now, just what's next for you guys?
We're kind of on a bit of a break at the moment. There's another competition in Byron in March next year.
Yeah,
Which
so
we're
Australia will hold its first professional para surfing competition in
Oh, yeah.
Byron, 17 to 22 March next year. So everybody will be flying in from all around the world to surf there, and they'll close the pass. It'll be a pretty amazing opportunity to surf the pass, only you and 3 other competitors
Oh,
out there, because
yep.
it's always so packed. But yeah, that's going to be amazing, and it's going to be really awesome for Australia and the media that will come from that, just bringing, shining a light on adaptive athletes
Yeah,
doing
definitely.
amazing things.
Yeah. Is this meant to be at the Paralympics or anything? coming
Yeah,
up?
so there's a
so-
decision about to be made.
Yeah. So the last competition, they kind of had people from the Paralympics come down and check it out and
At
see
the
if it was
ISA
at the
Worlds.
ISA Worlds
Right.
to see if it would be good, because to have a sport in the Olympics, you have to take medals from other sports.
Oh, okay.
So you can't just add more medals.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they have to get rid of a sport to put in parasurfing.
new
So they're
sport.
hoping to get it in for the LA 2028 Olympics.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
that'd
then
be
Brisbane.
amazing.
Brisbane after that.
Oh, yeah, true.
2032, yeah.
No, that's awesome, guys. Thanks for coming on and sharing that story. It's obviously you guys have been through a lot of ups and downs, and I think a lot of people listening will take a lot of lessons out of that, especially that advocating and lots of different things. So
Advocating.
thanks for coming on and sharing that journey, and
Pleasure.
thanks
Yeah,
so
it was
much.
good being
Yeah, I think you got a lot to look forward to you in the future, Kai. So
here. Thank you.
keep it up, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Well, that was Kai and Brooke Colless. Quite a incredible story that the family have been through with Kai's disability, and the way him as a young man has just taken it head on. And Brooke was saying how competitive he is in life. So for him to take on that challenge and everything he went through, and quite a scary experience, obviously, getting to that stage where he went to get up and just wasn't able to, and the unknown when they were going through it, not sure if it was just going to keep getting worse, progressively getting worse, is a terrifying position to be in. And as we spoke about in that, just having some sort of hope is such a big thing for people when they're in a vulnerable position like that. So all credit to the family and the support base they had around them. But I think a massive takeaway from that also is the way they had to advocate for themselves and really push to get what they needed, and knew that Kai and the family needed. So for anyone out there in a position where you think you might need to just push that little bit harder and unsure how to go about it, I'd definitely recommend to advocate, and you know what's best for you. So Kai's achieved some amazing things since then. That episode was actually recorded a while ago, and since then he is again the 2024 and 2023 back-to-back world para adaptive surfing champion. So an amazing achievement. He hasn't stopped achieving since recording this episode. He's just going from strength to strength, and his walking's getting better as well. So walking with crutches, getting stronger every day. So he is still going. So massive thanks to those two for coming in and sharing theirs and their family story. But as always, if this episode or any of the episodes have brought up any adverse feelings for you, help is available with Lifeline Australia. You can give them a call on 131114. Please remember to check in on each other and your mates, and remember that it ain't weak to speak. Go check out the Instagram page at chatsfromachair_podcast. Have a look at some of the past guests, and even send me a message. Let me know if you think there's someone I should have on and have a chat with. But for now, that's it. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.